Sri Lanka has sworn in a new left-leaning president following an election that took place on Saturday. The newly elected leader, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, has vowed to bring clean politics as the country recovers from a deep economic crisis. Dissanayake has positioned himself as the challenger to the status quo and is widely seen by analysts as a clear rejection of entrenched corruption and cronyism that have long afflicted the country. Political analyst Rashika Jayakody joins us from Colombo. We just heard that this election marks a political shift. What makes it so special?
Clearly, the political elite in Sri Lanka has been rejected by the majority of our public, and also the culture of corruption, abuse of power, and nepotism has been rejected. A new president has been elected by Sri Lanka, and he's clearly, I consider him a single-purpose candidate. His purpose, in my opinion, is to change the current political system in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has Sri Lanka has a crisis. It's a comprehensive crisis, and it has two main elements. One is the governance crisis, the political crisis, and we also have the economic crisis. I think Anura, in his campaign, clearly stated that the political crisis in Sri Lanka is the root cause for all our ills, and he's here to change that, to cure that. So that's that is my line of thinking.
Considering the country was governed by two powerful dynasties for years, and because this new guy on the block didn't get an absolute majority, could that pose problems?
Well, I see it this way. Anura Dissanayake got nearly 5.6 million votes, and he won with a clear margin. I mean, he got more than 1.3 million votes in the sense, it's a comfortable margin and it's a clear victory. But we can't rule out the fact that the majority of our voting population have voted against Anura Dissanayake. So clearly, his checks and balances are very clear in this, even in this mandate. So he has to tread very carefully, and also he has to deliver on his campaign promises. Anura campaigned hardly for accountable governance to make sure that the government punishes the people who are responsible for bribery and corruption, for strong anti-corruption measures. So now it's time for delivery, and he has very he doesn't have a lot of room in the sense he has to proceed with his mandate, and there's very little margin for error.
So how would you rate his chances of coming through on those election promises?
Well, when you look at his past, Anura has he has a relatively clean track record. He doesn't face allegations of bribery or corruption. He hasn't been convicted for any criminal activities. There are people who are skeptical of him because of his because of his political ideology, in the sense because he's a left-leaning leader. It's the first time Sri Lanka has elected a leftist. His party, the JVP, is a Marxist-Leninist party. But Anura, over the past few years, has worked tirelessly to rebrand the party. So he has now positioned himself as a moderate voice in politics, and his party is now seen as it's a center-left party. It's not a radical left party or far-left party. I think when it comes to resolving the issue of corruption, resolving the issue of Sri Lanka's political culture, Anura is the best person to do that.
Political analyst Rashika Jayakody in Colombo there.